Model Making Guru is sponsored by emodels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your model making needs. emodels.co.uk. Make something awesome. Hey everyone, it's Foxx from Model Making Guru here. Hello, welcome to the second part, a little build and review of the HG Obsidian Fury metallic version from Bandai, from the upcoming movie Pacific Rim Uprising, sent to me by my good friends at geekjack.net. Now, if you remember in the last episode, we looked at what's in the box. As you can see, probably fairly obvious, I've snapped it all together. And what we're going to do, we're going to have a quick talk about it, then we'll show you the articulation and the accessories, and then we'll see if it's something worth buying. So, first of all, snapped it up in maybe 2 or 3 hours. It didn't take long. It wasn't a complicated build. It's an HG. It's maybe a little tiny bit more advanced than an HG. Certainly a lot more detailed, surface detail wise, than an HG, at least up until some of the more recent ones. It's actually, you know, more detailed than many of the HGs I've built before. So that's a really nice touch. It's got lots of surface detail and panel lines on there. Really fun to build, didn't take long. Good fun weekend build, or if you've got an afternoon free, absolutely cracking great fun. Now, in terms of the kit itself, there is the obvious question. This is a special finish kit, and the main question with any special finish kit is, what about the nubs? Now, if you've built any of the finished kits from Bandai before, like the titanium finish or the pearlescent finishes, or any of the mechy plated ones like the silvers and the golds, and this is where I have to admit, there is a gold plated Fenix Unicorn Perfect grade. I can't remember if that's Bandai or third party, but I'll use it as a reference as well. If you've ever made that one, or you've seen that one, you know it's a white plastic kit with gold plating over it. And when you take the pieces off the sprue and you clean up the nubs, you've got gold with big white nub mark. You can't do anything about that. You can't match the plating gold, so you're left with those. However, those kind of kits where there's a finish, they still sell really well because people love them. There are people out there that love this kind of thing. So if you're familiar with the plated kits, the titanium finish, the gold finishes, things like that, you'll have absolute fine time with this, because the nubs on this have a kind of advantage in that A, it's gloss black, so that kind of distracts your eye from any nubs anyway. B, the gate marks, or the gates where it connects, for the most part are really small. They've done a good job of making them really quite small. There are some parts where you've got like a tiny nub and a massive nub, and you're like, could you not have just given me 2 small nubs? But there's only a few of those parts. For the most part, they're really small, and they're hidden away on edges and in corners that you're not going to see. There are a couple of offenders. There are some nub marks on the pauldrons which are really quite big, and you can't miss them. You see it there and that bit there. But they're not too bad. You know, I'm looking at it from about 2 feet away. You can't really see them. If you get up close and look at it, you can. But as looking at it on your shelf, you can't really see them. It's not that bad. But yes, they're kind of hidden. Now you could say, could they not just undergate it? Now there is actually no undergating in this kit, and undergating would fix all the nub problems. However, you do have to keep in mind, this is an HG kit. It's not a master grade. If they ever do a master grade of this, that will be sweet, because what they could do is, the way they tend to do it is they have a master grade kit they release, and then they release a special plated version for some of them. Now what they do is, when they release the master grade, they don't know if they're going to do a plated version, so they just give them normal gates. And then when you get the kit, you've got normal gates. Sometimes they'll do a plated version specifically, and they'll redesign some of the sprues to have undergating, which is a really nice touch, but it probably involves more expense and more design. So for an HG kit, I wouldn't expect them to give undergating. They might do occasionally, but for something like this, I don't expect them to put any undergate. So I wasn't kind of disappointed not, you know, to see no undergating. It would fix the problem, but you'd have to pay more, and it's an HG kit. It's a fun HG kit, so don't expect that. But in terms of its looks and the nubs, you can't really see most of them. The colour scheme detracts. Now the black itself is a really gorgeous glossy black. I will say, it's not really a metallic finish. I'm not saying this is black metallic, it's just shiny gloss black. The inner frame parts, which are a kind of gunmetal-y colour, they're actually more metallic than the black. It's not a problem though, because it looks really nice. There is some variation between the panels. Some are really glossy shiny and some are slightly satiny, and it just gives a nice variation. But the advantage again is, because the plastic's black and because the finish is black and you've got nubs sticking out, if you wanted to take care of some of the nubs, and the only ones you really need to do were the ones on the 2 shoulder pauldron pieces, you could theoretically get those 2 pieces, just 2 pieces, strip them down, repaint them with a gloss black primer, go over with a gloss black paint, put a gloss finish on it, and they would fit in perfectly. It wouldn't look quite as good as the finish on here, but it would blend and you'd have no nub marks. So there is that advantage of this colour scheme. And I'm kind of lucky, I'm kind of happy I got this one and not the big Gypsy Vengeance, because that's got different colours and yeah, that will be a lot more complicated. But this one is black, so I've got black plastic, black finish, nubs are mostly hidden. So don't worry about nubs. If nubs are putting you off, don't worry about it. But like I say, great fun build. It looks fantastic. It's smaller than I thought. I thought it would be bigger. But hey, if it was 144, it'd probably be bigger than a master grade. And I just really enjoyed it. So what I'll do, I'll get it off the spinny thing. Oh, you notice, by the way, I haven't put the stickers on. I've still got all the stickers here. That's because I'm going to give this kit away. So I didn't want to put them on. So whoever wins this kit can do what they want with the stickers or leave them off if they choose. So I decided to leave those off. But let's get him down off the spinny thing. Or her, whichever you prefer. And we'll have a look at the articulation. Back in a moment. Let's check out this bad boy's dance moves. So first off, the head. We have a small movement to the left and right, because the carapace gets in the way, and you've got a slight movement forward and backward, but not really much. I think that's just more movement in the peg than anything else. So limited movement in the head, but it does rotate. Shoulder wise, we have the armour here at the top moves ever so slightly, and the shoulder does pivot up and down on that joint there. For the arm, we have a full 360 rotation. Very nice. We don't have a rotation halfway down the upper part of the arm though, just right at the shoulder. We have a double joint at the elbow, so you can bend it from the bottom that far, and then at the top it also bends again, so you can get it further up. So it's a nice range of movement there. It does actually go back a little bit far as well, a bit further than normal, so good range on that. If you ever do this and use it a lot, that little joint there might pop apart, but you just pop it back together again. Now the hand, it's full 360. Although when the blade's there, it kind of gets in the way. We have a ball joint at the hand, which gives you a limited movement. It's not a massive amount of movement on the hand, kind of that, and a little bit side to side, but you've got the rotation option. Chest wise, the chest is very limited. You've got some slight rotation at the hips, but literally a few degrees. That's literally it. That's as far as it's going to go, because the armour gets in the way. The ab here, you can push it back, but it's quite tight, and it goes about that far back. Get him out of the way. And it can go forward, again, about that far. You're not going to get any kind of real massive ab crunch though. And it does have a risk that the upper armour here can scrape the lower armour. It can rub on it, so you have to kind of be very careful when you do it. So a little bit of movement that far, but nothing major, and pretty much no rotation. Leg wise, we have at the hip joint, you can have the leg going out that far. That's as far as it goes. It can go all the way back though, which is very impressive. And it can go all the way forward if you stop the armour crunching on it. So you have got a full 360. Of course, you've got the armour getting in the way, so be careful when you do that. The knee, similar to the elbow, you've got a double joint here. So you have a joint at the top and a joint at the bottom. The joint at the top, if you don't drop it, will go that far back. The joint at the bottom will take it even further. So a really impressive leg bend there. And obviously you have this free piece of armour here at the back, which moves independently and also moves independently on that little arm, so that will fit in quite nicely. For the feet, you simply have forward and backward movement about that much, side to side about that much, and back, that's literally as far as it goes, so not a massive amount of posing options there. So ultimately, not the most poseable figure compared to some Gunpla, but you've still got a good range of motion in there in most of the joints. You've got the double jointed joints, which is quite nice. So you will be able to crack out a few good poses with this. If you're not doing the jumping in the air, because I haven't actually got a jetpack, but I'll just pretend to have, like I had on the stand. In terms of accessories, you do get 2 sets of hand. You have the closed fist and the open hand. So there's the spares. You also get, now this is one that you also get the covers for the hands. You get 2 for the closed and 2 for the open. They just snap on the back. Now, one disappointment with this kit is these plasma chain swords. If you look at the instruction book, it shows this as the orange bit with the grey bit in the middle. It's not actually what you get in the kit. In the kit, you either get the orange part, the effect part, or the grey part, and you can have them as you wish. but it's because I thought it was like a plastic piece that will go over it. It's not. It's just you can have one or the other. So if you're wanting to paint it to look like that, you could take this piece and paint the outside orange coloured, but it wouldn't be transparent, or you could take this piece and paint the inside of it a darker grey colour, but you'd have to be careful and do lots of masking. So yeah. Oh, and his arm's gone. You see that joint there on the arm? That does actually pop apart occasionally, but it's not a big problem. Just push it back together again, just if you overexert the arm. One thing I would say when you're assembling this piece of carapace here that goes on top of the blade, leave this off to the very end, because if you put this on the arm, follow the instructions, you put this on the arm, then to put the chainsaw thing on, you have to then take it off again. There is a little notch cut at the back here you can see to allow you to do that, but it's a bit fiddly to get it off and you might risk scratching the finish. So leave this off to the end and then just add it on with the chainsaw and you'll be fine. And the other accessories you get obviously are all the stickers, which as I said I've left off just so that whoever wins this kit will then be able to apply them if they wish, or wait to see if they can find some water slide versions. So let's go back and see whether it's worth a purchase. Okay, right, that's the articulation. So not the most articulated kit in the world, but hey, it's probably just going to stand on your shelf in a display pose. Now I've got it in a kind of classic, or tried to get it into a classic jumping in the air flying pose here. The reality is, of course, these things, as far as I know, don't have jump packs or thrusters. They don't actually do the in the air position. You're more likely to put it in a standing position. That does lead me on to the display base, which is exclusive to this metal finish kit. It's kind of weird. That's as far forward as I can tilt it. Now the plug that goes into the butt of the Jaeger, and it is literally like a butt plug. It's there you go. It's at that funny angle, and that's as far forward as it can go. So, and the socket where it goes is at the sort of the corner of his butt, if butts have corners. It's not right underneath, so you can't get him straight up. So it's a really weird design, but that's as far as I can get it. So it looks fine. It looks fine. In reality, you probably more likely have it standing up. So that's probably what they've designed it for, but it's a very strange stand. The other thing as well is it is a little bit loose here at the front, so you might occasionally have it go like that or to the side. There's little ratchets that it sticks in, and it's not a very tight finish, so you have to push it in and make sure it stays in place, but it may occasionally flop. So it's a very strange base. There is a little adapter on the top that goes into his butt, and I've not tested it, but I'm pretty sure that would just fit on a standard HG base where you've got the little peg at the top. It just slots on, so you could probably use a standard HG display base anyway, so don't worry too much. But yep, I do like the base. It's nice and shiny. But the big question, should you buy this kit? Should you get it? You've obviously got the choice of, they're not out yet, but you will have the standard HG kit, which will be like this without the metallic finish, and it won't have the stand, and that you could fully repaint, get rid of all the nubs and repaint it how you wanted. However, you'd have a challenge getting this kind of gloss finish, not all of it, but some of the really glossy parts. You'd have a challenge. You might have to go into your really sort of nice gloss varnishes and a bit of polishing and all that kind of stuff. So if you don't want to get into that, but you want the shiny black, I'd go for this. It looks fantastic. The nubs aren't a problem. It looks great. If you're familiar with the finish kits and the metal finish kits and the mechy plated kits, then you'll be in your element. It's probably got less nub marks, visible nub marks, than most of the other plated gunpla you've made. Especially if you made the titanium ones. The finish is actually fairly durable because it's not actually a metallic finish, it's a gloss black. With handling, it doesn't get all scuffy and scrapey. If you've made any of the titanium finish kits, they can just get scratched to heck just by handling them and cutting them off the sprue. And if you slip with the nippers, you've knackered your finish. This is actually quite durable. I've not had any major scrapes or scuffs apart from where I've been taking nubs off. So yeah, and by the way, when I built this, I didn't go to town cleaning all the nubs and things off. It's still got their nub marks on there. I did a bit of nub removal, but not too much, because I wanted you to be able to see where they were. I wanted them to stand out so you could say, right, I can see where the nubs are. I wanted you to see how good or bad the nubs were. So they're not bad. They're not bad. But yeah, so should you buy this kit? It's an HG kit. Remember, it's only available from geekjack.net. I had to think then before I said that. I keep tripping over it when I try and pronounce it. It's only available from geekjack.net. So if you want this metallic finish kit, go to geekjack.net. I still can't say it. You can't say it fast. Geekjack.net. Go there. They've got the exclusive license to sell these particular metallic finish kits. Go and grab them. They're available now, so go and check them out. But yeah, should you buy it? I think so. If you want the really glossy shiny thing, if you're not If you're not, going to be repainting, if you're not in the habit of repainting your figures and your Gunpla, you don't really want to repaint the bog standard HG one, which will just be, I assume, a sort of a black colour but not a shiny. Go for it. Go for it, absolutely. But that's going to do for the review. So is it worth it? Yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. Looks great. Not the most posable thing in the world, but hey, you're just going to put it on your shelf anyway. You can get some good poses out of it, and the nubs aren't that bad. So if they were putting you off, don't sweat it. Could you light it up? You could probably somehow finagle lighting in the head. It doesn't come with a lighting kit because there's nothing that actually needs to light up. Not like the Gypsy Vengeance, which has the big light in the middle. That does come with an LED. This doesn't really need one. You could put one into the head, but you'd have to hack around inside and do that. So it doesn't come with that, and it does come with the stand that the normal kit doesn't. So that's going to do it for the review. I'd say it's a good, I'd give it out of 10. I'd give it a good 7.5, maybe 8 out of 10. It's not the best thing ever that I've made, but it's good fun and it looks really cool. So let's say 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. It's good stuff. It's worth getting. They're not expensive kits, so there you go. Now, before we call this one quits, I am going to be giving this specific build away. As it is now, that's why I've left the stickers off. I'm going to be giving this away to one of my patrons. So if you would like to win this kit, do pop along to my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/modelmakingguru. I'll put a little thing up there. You'll see a post for the giveaway. You need to be a patron to see the post and know how to enter. So go along to patreon.com/modelmakingguru and you could be in with the chance of winning this exact thing here. And all I'll do is I'll put it in the box and pad it up and give you the stickers. I'll give all the accessories and spares as well. You've got the hands and the chainsaw and stuff like that. I'll put those in there, and you can have this and you can do what you want with it. You can paint it up, you can take off the pauldrons and paint them, you can stick all the stickers on. There might be at some point be third-party water slides you could use instead, or you can make your own water slides if you're able to do that. You could detail paint the inner frame parts. That'd be quite nice. The sort of pistons and things on there, they might look quite cool if you do some detail painting on those. That'd be rather interesting. Yeah, so you can win that, and I'll obviously include the stand as well. So that's going to do us. Thank you so much for watching. A big thanks to the guys at geekjack.net. I said it right that time, for sending this to me to review. I had a great time building it. It's a good solid 8 out of 10. It's good fun. It looks great. It's not a major complex build, and it'll just fit in if you like collecting your HG size, and if you like Pacific Rim, it'll fit in quite nicely. So it just remains for me to say thank you so much for watching. Do take care of yourselves. Go make something awesome. Go be awesome. And until next time, adios amoebas.